The oldest fishing hook ever found is 23,000 years old, carved from a sea snail shell in a cave in Okinawa. And here's the strange part. For the next 22,000 years, it barely changed. Then, in a single century, we went from a carved shell to boats that can find every fish in the ocean. This is the story of how humans out-engineered the sea, and why winning became the problem. Fishing isn't a hobby with a long history, it's an arms race. One clever primate against everything that lives underwater. Every rod, reel and line is a move in that race, and for almost all of it, the fish were winning. Let me show you the moments the balance tipped. Those first hooks weren't made by desperate people poking at a stream. Whoever carved them was skilled, reading tides, working coastlines season after season. Their kit, a barbed hook, a line of plant fibre, maybe a net. And then, almost nothing happens. The barbed hook was good enough, so it stuck around for 20,000 years. For most of human history, the fish set the pace. The first real leap was mechanising the line, and it happened in China. The earliest mention of a fishing reel comes from the 3rd century. By the year 1195, a painter named Yuan captured a fisherman using one. A reel means you can store line, cast farther, and fight a bigger fish without it snapping. That's the first move in humanity's favour. Now jump to England, 1653. A man named Isaac Walton publishes The Complete Angler, and fishing becomes something new. Literature, philosophy, a gentleman's pursuit. But the gear is still handmade and slow. Rods of solid wood, lines braided from horsehair. Fishing is a craft, not a technology. And the arms race stays paused for 200 more years. Then the industrial age reaches the rod. In the 1840s, a Pennsylvania gunsmith named Samuel Phillip splits bamboo into 6 strips and glues them into a rod lighter and stronger than any before. Split cane rules for a century. Then, after World War II, fiberglass arrives. Cheap, tough, nearly unbreakable. And by the 1950s, glass rods are everywhere and fishing becomes a mass hobby. Then, in 1973, the endgame material lands. Graphite. Light. Sensitive. Powerful. The rod in your garage today is still, basically, a 1973 idea. But a rod is only as good as its line, and for 22,000 years, the line was the weak link, horsehair and silk that rotted, snapped and tangled. Then, in 1938, DuPont announces a new synthetic, nylon. But early nylon was stiff as wire, so braided lines hung on for another 20 years. Until 1959, when DuPont releases strand thin, soft, strong line that casts like a dream. Pair it with the new spinning reel, and suddenly anyone could cast far and straight on the first try. This is the moment fishing gets easy. Now the fish had one advantage left. They were invisible. You couldn't see through water. Until 1957, when a man named Carl Lawrence and his 2 sons built the first portable fish finder using sonar borrowed from the Navy. In 1959, they boxed it up and called it the Little Green Box. Commercial sonar cost over $2,000. Theirs cost about $150, and they sold more than 1 million. For the first time in 23,000 years, the fishermen could see the fish. The water turned transparent, and that same technology, scaled up, changed the ocean itself. Bolt sonar and GPS onto an industrial trawler, and you get a ship that finds, catches, freezes and packs fish without returning to port. The 23,000-year arms race was over. We won. Completely. Which brings us back to the problem I promised. Find every fish, and you catch every fish. Today, the United Nations reports more than 1/3 of the world's fish stocks, 35.5%, are caught faster than they can reproduce, and that number climbs about 1% a year. We got so good at catching fish that we're running out of fish to catch. Look at the shape of this story. The hook barely changed for 20,000 years. Then, in about 150, bamboo, fiberglass, graphite, nylon, sonar, satellites. We lapped 20 millennia of progress. The tools got so powerful that the hardest skill in fishing is no longer catching them, it's knowing when to stop. That 23,000-year-old shell hook didn't just catch someone's dinner. It started a race we're only now realizing we won a little too well. This is the first in a series on the everyday objects that reshaped the world. Next time, the diving suit. From a Leonardo da Vinci sketch to a suit that walks the ocean floor. Subscribe and tell me what we should watch evolve next.